Hi, hello everyone. My name is Sabrina Figueiredo, and this is my informative speech on how racism and discrimination has a negative impact on mental health. So, racism is a big issue in our society today, all around the world. It is inexplicable and unimaginable, especially if it's happening to you, like if you're experiencing it. Not only is racism slash discrimination problematic, it promotes a culture of discrimination and it has led to the wrongful deaths of many people around the country. As a person with feelings, when someone calls me out on my insecurities, I feel terrible. So imagine being called out on something you cannot change. That messes with your mental health. So when discriminating against people for any reason, it can negatively impact their mental health. Racism has adversely affected the lives of colored people in America then, and it still continues to affect them now. Racism seeks to destroy. It's a refuge for the ignorant. On July 28th of 2020, Joanne Loosely wrote, the aforementioned systematic review found that experiencing racism is associated with poor mental health and, to a lesser extent, poor physical health in the medical news today. That's where she wrote it. There is a lot of research to suggest that stress is associated with experiencing racism and it can have long lasting effects, which leads to blood pressure and a weakened immune system, which come with risk of having long term health conditions. It causes trauma, and trauma has a direct line to mental illnesses. So, racism and mental health are very closely linked. Discrimination can cause worsened mental health conditions that can actually risk your physical health. Excuse me. Racism is a key contributing factor in the onset of disease. It is responsible for increasing disparities in physical and mental health, excuse me, among Black, Indigenous, and people of color. There has been a great impact with racism on psychological activity. On February of 2003, Jules P. Harrow, Sadiki Hall, and James Taliaferro created a research and found that psychological arousal is associated with laboratory analogies of ethnic discrimination and mistreatment. The evidence supports the notion that direct encounters with discriminatory events contributing to negative health outcomes. The stress can increase blood pressure and weaken the immune system. This leads to risk of developing long-term conditions. Black people are more likely to have hypertension than any other race or ethnic groups. Racism and discrimination affect the human mind drastically. It affects the mind because it begins to make you feel things and think things that are not positive and not healthy at all. While reading a journal of health and social behavior written by David R. Williams, he found that he was once depressed. Both black groups were more likely than whites to be chronically or persistently depressed. They have more severe symptoms and they have higher levels or impairment and they do not receive treatment. This comes to show that being racist against other people can lead them to depression, and it may be harder for them to get better, especially if they don't seek help or no one's helping them. Racism is a wrong faith that some people are better and superior because of genetic traits like skin color or race. It refers to the thought that physical appearance has a link to someone's personality and their intelligence. Many people use racism as an excuse to justify terrible behavior towards others. As a nation, we should be breaking the cycle of hatred. None of us were born with hatred in our hearts. Changing the way our ancestors have done things is the key to success as a community as a whole. We should be teaching our youth to embrace differences and to stop turning a blind eye to mistreatment of others because of their skin color or because of their race or because of the religion they believe in. We should be teaching our elders also that we understand that's how it used to be and that's what they're used to, but this is how it is now. Everything has changed, in the new years. We should be educating each other on how racism can affect someone's health mentally and physically and it's just not something we should be doing. All right, thank you.